let's take a look at this Week 15 slate here, DVR. Some very popular picks for Survivor people this week. Cardinals over Lions over on Yahoo, 36.7% used. Dolphins over Jets, 28.3%. Niners over Falcons, 14.6%. Bills over Panthers at 14.2%. Cowboys over Giants at 10.3%. And then you've got a smattering of teams in the 1, 2, 3% range. So those five, Cardinals, Dolphins, Niners, Bills, and Cowboys, by far the five most popular selections. Both of us have teams among that group available to us on this pool that we run here, DVR. Are you going with one of those five teams for your one true pick?
Yeah, the only team I have left from that group in this particular exercise is the Dolphins over the Jets. I think it's just that the Jets are awful. But ever since Tua Tagovailoa has returned, this Dolphins team has looked a lot different. I mean, after that miserable start, they have turned things around in a big way. I don't know if they're a credible playoff team, but they're at least close to a league average sort of team, maybe on both sides. And the Jets are like a bottom three team, seemingly all over or near that, at least a bottom five team. So this to me is just, it's my only option of these good options, I would call them, or the popular options. It all rests on just the Dolphins being healthy at the end of the week. I guess we got to be careful with the COVID outbreaks that are happening all over the league right now as far as figuring out who's in and who's out. And I think that's the one sort of extra variable that we have right now that could lead you to want to change something last minute. But as things stand here, Wednesday afternoon, I'm very comfortable with the Dolphins in that spot over the Jets here in Week 15.
As you should be. There's really no reason to argue against this. The Jets just look terrible. They are the worst run defense in the NFL. They cannot do anything offensively. Zach Wilson looks totally in over his head, which, rookie quarterbacks, that's going to be the case for a lot of them, especially ones who are on bad teams. But he's taking this to a whole new level. And I think the Jets, privately would maybe admit now that, maybe we should have taken a longer look at Justin Fields or Mac Jones or one of these guys who we passed on to take Zach Wilson, because he just does not look the part whatsoever and really hasn't even given us a flash here or there. So there's really no reason to argue against the Dolphins in this instance. And it's probably the last good chance to use the Dolphins as well. That's not true of some of these other very good teams. I mean, if you've waited this long and you still have the Cardinals available, you're probably going to have another chance to use them. The Bills, the Cowboys, there are chances still, even though we're only talking about a couple more weeks beyond this one. There are definitely going to be opportunities to use those teams. The Dolphins, not so much. Definitely your last best chance to use them. So I really can't argue against it. They are a team that I have available as well in our pool here. I am not going with them, however, because I do think that something that we have to think about when you get this deep in Survivor pools is that any week could be the week. We talked about it last week. Any week could be the week. All it takes is one upset, and for you to not be on that upset, and you are in good position. So that's why I go with the Dallas Cowboys. I have the Cowboys, I have the Giants, I have the 49ers available in our pool here, and I like all three of them. If I'm just picking for this week and this week only, and I'm not necessarily thinking about what's coming up down the road, I rank those three: Cowboys, Niners, Dolphins. And it's really nothing against the Dolphins here. I just think that the Cowboys and Niners are, both very good teams. If the Cowboys are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, I think the 49ers are probably a legitimate Super Bowl contender. We'll see how things go for them the next couple of weeks, but separating themselves in that NFC playoff race. The Giants are dreadful. This is a bad team. Daniel Jones is not going to play in this game. We're talking about Mike Glennon getting another start. This is now 2 straight games the Giants have played without Daniel Jones. This will be the third. And I mean, they can't do anything offensively without Daniel Jones. And so even though this is a road divisional game, that's sort of one of the, no-nos in Survivor, something you try to avoid, just one of the tenets of Survivor pools. That's really looking for a reason to not take the Cowboys. And I think there are just so many other reasons to take the Cowboys with what this Giants defense has showed us, just getting carved up by the Chargers last week. I don't really see anything standing in the way of Dak Prescott and company doing something similar to what Justin Herbert and his boys did to this Giants defense a week ago. Like the Cowboys quite a bit in this one. 10.5-point favorites. I think they cover that spread. I think they win it comfortably. They're going to be my one true pick here.
Yeah, they deserve to be 10.5-point favorites. And just by comparison, the Dolphins sitting at 9.5-point home favorites. So very comparable just in terms of expectations in that regard. And I do think having some added appeal of waiting, if you haven't used the Cowboys already, does maybe give me a little more, like if I had them available, I don't have them available, it would give me a little more reason to wait on them. the Dolphins have no value, as you suggested,
Mhm.
beyond this week. Going on the road on a Monday night to play the Saints, no matter what the form of that team is, not a spot where you want to use them with your whole pool hanging in the balance. On the road against Tennessee in week 17, not a good spot there either. And then home against the Patriots if it goes to week 18, yeah, no thanks. So at least with Dallas, you get a couple other matchups that are good. I
Yeah.
think even in week 16, their win percentage based on the Mike Clay chart we talk about each and every week, it's similar to where it is this week. So you can wait a week and use one of the pivots that you can't use later if you want to, but
Mhm.
I have a hard time imagining the Giants find a way to put a lot of points on the board against that Dallas defense. And it's weird seeing the Cowboys and the Packers having defenses that look like pretty good defenses. It's jarring to
Yeah.
me to see that from both of those teams.
Yeah, right. That is just not what we expect from these teams going back like I don't know, like a decade almost, right? It's just
Hmm.
it's teams that have been consistently competitive and for the Packers case, consistently very good and doing it basically all on offense. So it is a little bit jarring to see those teams come with some real life defenses this season. I'm with you on the Dolphins. Like if I didn't have, if we were sitting here and of these five teams, if the only ones I had available, I said, obviously I'm taking the Cowboys over the Dolphins. If the only ones I had available were the Cowboys and the Dolphins, I would probably go Dolphins in this spot, actually, because I would feel like I need the Cowboys down the line. But I also have the 49ers, and they've got a very good spot in week 17 as well. And so I feel like I can get the Cowboys here, cross my fingers, and hope for the Jets upset against the Dolphins team that, again, I don't really think it's a risk, but they have a huge COVID situation going on with their team, too. No healthy running backs as of right now. So we're not exactly sure what that's going to look like going into that game on Sunday. Yeah, I can cross my fingers and hope for that upset and then still have someone in that week 17 spot in the 49ers when they draw the Texans. And so that's part of the thinking here as well. If you did have, let's just say in a world where you had all five available, and that's probably not the case for anyone, but just it's helpful because some people probably have three, some people have four, some people have two. Let's just rank these five. 1 through 5, these five very popular picks that are going to make up a huge share of survivor picks this week. Again, Cardinals over Lions, Dolphins over Jets, Niners over Falcons, Bills over Panthers, and Cowboys over Giants. In a world we have all five of them, how are you ranking them?
I'd go Cardinals 1 because it's so hard to imagine a scenario in which the Cardinals lose to the
Mhm.
Lions. So if you have that left, there's a good chance other people in your pool, at least a decent number of them, don't. So if you have the Cardinals, play the Cardinals. That's easy advice. I haven't had them for a long time, so they've been off my radar for a while. So Cardinals 1, a clear number 1 for me. I
Mhm.
think I'm I think I'm Cowboys. I'm Cowboys after Dolphins, even in the overall rankings, because I'm still thinking about the future. And I think
Yeah.
when I look at Arizona's future, this is their highest win probability for the rest of the season, and for good
Yep.
reasons. That's the key difference for me. So I'm gonna go Cardinals, Niners, Dolphins, Cowboys, Bills. I think what's
Mhm.
with the Bills right now? They have easier spots coming up in week 17 and
Uh-huh.
week 18. So that's part of the appeal compared to the other teams here, but they just don't seem quite right overall the last month or so? Is it just injuries? Like, what do you make of the Bills at this point in the season? The power rankings still love them. They're
Mhm.
still number 2 in the Massey
Mhm.
Peabody rankings, but something just feels off with them right now.
Yeah, it's hard to put your finger on too. Obviously, losing Tre'Davious White is a huge blow for the defense. It's not just what he does personally, but it's the domino effect that he has on everyone else and what his absence has on everyone else. So that certainly hurts. And like I hate to say it, but I like you need at least the threat of a run game. Like I am not at all an establish the run old school sort of football person, but you need at least the threat. You need teams to at least respect that you can do something on the ground other than your quarterback doing something to them. And I just think that they've become a little bit too one-dimensional offensively. You did see things click for them in the second half against the Buccaneers, and I feel like that was the time of all season where they felt the most like the 2020 Bills offense was that second half against the Bucks. And so I hope they can take some of that going forward. The reason that they would be the fifth out of five for me this week, DVR, is just because of the Josh Allen injury situation. We're probably not going to know until Saturday, if not Sunday, if he is going for them this week. I would bet on him going, but we're not going to know if he's going or not until the weekend. And it's almost certain that we're going to get a less than 100% Josh Allen. So if you have multiple of these teams available and you have the Bills with just as usable spots down the line, I say there's no reason to use them in a spot where you know Josh Allen is not the full Josh Allen that you expect him to be. That's why they're the fifth out of five for me of this group.